In which year was the Office of the Solicitor General created? Well, that would be 1990. In what year was Northwood Prison opened? That was back in 1981. Who was Dr. George Geology? He was a renowned entomologist who first visited Cayman on behalf of the World Health Organization. Which year was Sir Vassal Johnson knighted? That significant event happened in 1994. By 1993, which telecom firm had a monopoly in Cayman? Cable and wireless. Cayman holds 3/4 of the world's what? Hedge funds. What year was the first serious immigration law passed? 1916. What immigration factor accounts for Cuban refugees in 1997? Clinton barring Cubans from the US. What was the Social Services Department originally formed as? Probation and Welfare Unit. Environmental Research Unit eventually became what? Department of Environment. When was the first American military base in Georgetown? 1942 to 1945. Who was the Cayman shipwright who developed the catboat? That would be Daniel Jarvis. Now let's talk a bit about the catboat itself. It's a 16-foot by 4-foot vessel equipped with oars and sculls, and it's double-ended. All these answers are correct. What significant event took place on Sunday, July 2nd, 1972? It was the old Government House fire. And when did the new Legislative Assembly open? That would be on the 31st of July, 1971. Also, in what year and at what cost was the original Government House constructed? It was built in 1907 at a cost of £830. So what is the tax rate on items brought into the Cayman Islands? The rate is 22%. What was the name of the governor of the first temporary settled village in the Cayman Islands? Captain Hurst. Which of the Cayman Islands were first sighted by Christopher Columbus on the 10th of May, 1503? Little Cayman and the Brack. The seal of the Cayman Islands, advised by the Cayman Islands Vestry, had what written in it? C. Unless the Lord build the house, its builder labour in vain. By 1960, how large was Cayman's labour force? 3,159. What are shoes made from thatch called wampers? Who was called Cayman's first artist? Bendel Hides. Which Caymanian athlete won the gold medal in the women's 200 metres at the 2010 Commonwealth Games? Sidonie Camille Mothersill. And which Caymanian athletes achieved second place in the 2004 Summer Olympics in the 100 metres? Corrine Street Thompson. The following is correct about the West Indian Federation. It lasted from 1958 to 1962. The British view was that political integration would allow independence. It was a bicameral parliament, both nominated and popular. This is incorrect. It had 60 members. Actually, it had 45 elected members. What year was the first permanent English-speaking population? 1700. So, what year and month was the Emancipation Bill passed that freed apprentices? Well, the Emancipation Bill was passed on the 31st of July, 1833. It came into force at midnight on the 31st of July, 1834, or you could say the 1st of August, 1834. When was the Government Savings Bank established in the Cayman Islands? It was in the year 1908. Can you name the district and give the date when an election irregularity was reported in the Cayman Islands during the 1950s? It was the East End District, and the date was the 11th of August, 1956. What was the date of the mission of the Big Four to King's House, Jamaica? January 14th, 1957. When was the first radio broadcast conducted in the Cayman Islands? What was the occasion and whose equipment was used? December 13th, 1958 at 1:30 in the afternoon. The occasion was the coming into effect of the proposed new constitution, and the equipment was provided by H.M. Coe Esquire, also known as Malley. On what date did the Cayman Islands Legislative Assembly vote to introduce the membership system as a prelude to ministerial government? February 9th, 1962. And what date was the old Government House fire? July 2nd, 1972. When was the first throne speech in the new LA building, and who made it? Well, it was on the 7th of August, 1972, and it was delivered by Kenneth Crook. What date did the Cayman Islands dollar replace the Jamaican dollar? It was on the 1st of May, 1972. What month and year was the poll tax repealed? That would be November 1985. What is the role of the Legislative Assembly? Well, the Legislative Assembly makes laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the Cayman Islands. In the new Cayman Islands Constitution, what did the Chief Secretary become? The Chief Secretary became the Deputy Governor. In which year did Kenneth Roy Crook begin his governorship of Cayman? Kenneth Roy Crook began his governorship in 1972. Who, according to the Constitution, exercises complete authority in Cayman? The governor. Who founded the Chamber of Commerce in 1935 and installed the first radio station? Alan Cardinal. About how many Caymanian men served in World War II? At least 1,000. Which governor arrived in Cayman to declare all slaves free? Governor Sligo. What was the act of the Imperial Parliament in 1863? It was an instrument attached to the Jamaican Constitution which spoke of the governance of the Cayman Islands. Until the new Constitution in 1959, what was the official instrument which was used to govern the Cayman Islands? The Imperial Act of 1863. Name the Big Four: W. Farrington, Ernest Panton, Edie Merrin Vestryman, Old Panton Vestryman. Beginning with the 2017 election, how many seats will there be in the LA? 19. In the single-member framework to be used in the 2017 election, how many constituencies will there be in Boddentown? 4. Give the measurements in feet of the highest point in the Cayman Islands, 141 feet. In which of his voyages did Christopher Columbus sight the Cayman Islands? It was during his fourth and final voyage. What name did Christopher Columbus give the Cayman Islands? He called them Las Tortugas. How many rivers can one find in the Cayman Islands? Well, there are 0 rivers in the Cayman Islands. The Minister of Education, Sports, Agriculture and Land is Juliana O'Connor Connolly. Fix you! Getting what you deserve. There you are, wa? Is that you for true? Who your mama is? Who's your mother? I got broke a tamarind switch off on your backside, whipping. What it look like? Are you taking me for a fool, not a Dickens? No way, absolutely not. You're mouth big boy. You talk far too much. Don't pay that no mind, ignore that. Look here, see what we have here. 2 of them is one age, they are so alike. You mama newa teach you say hi. Ah, what, did your mother not teach you any manners? She bad, though? That piece of equipment is really wonderful. Goo bade your stink skin? You are smelling real bad and need a bath. What going on, Bobo? How are things with you, my friend? Da, true still. I must concede that what you are saying is true. Time longer, Dan Rope. You can mistreat me only for a time, but watch it. Anna, hush now. Guys, please be quiet. Horsestead and cow fat, you are not talking the truth. Embellishing. You don't know, Cucker. You lack intelligence. Boy, da, looks stink. That really looks bad. I figure that. I guessed correctly. Do what you gotta do. Do what you have to do. That nothing. That is nothing. Not no more. Not anymore. Dana go hurt you, that. It is not going to have an effect. Hear you. I can't believe what you're saying. I'm Miami now. I'm broke and can't afford to travel. Take Darstall out. You've been embarrassed. Which national hero contributed to the parliamentary system and was the first Speaker of the House? Sybil McLaughlin. In feet, the highest point in the Cayman Islands is 141 feet, the Bluff. The Minister of Health, Environment, Culture and Housing is Dwayne Seymour. The first Caymanian knighted was Sir Vassal Johnson. Which islands were first sighted by Columbus? Brack and Little. The Emancipation Bill freeing slaves passed on July 31st, 1833 and came into effect on August 1st, 1833. Under the new Constitution, the Chief Secretary became the Deputy Governor. The first seal devised by the Vestry States, unless the Lords build the house, the builders labour in vain. Which Cayman cultural icon is also a centenarian? Julia Hydes, also known as Aunt Julia. When was the poll tax repealed in Cayman? That would be during the LA budget in November 1985. And when did the Big Four travel to Jamaica for the King's House? That was on January 14th, 1957. Lastly, can you name some types of dances performed at get-togethers? Sure, those would be sand or kitchen dances. Who is the Collector of Customs? Charles Clifford. Who is the current governor? Jane Owen. Who is the Premier? Juliana O'Connor Connolly. Who is the Deputy Premier? Andre M. Ebanks. Minister for Tourism and Ports? Kenneth Bryan. Minister for Planning, Agriculture, Housing, Infrastructure, as well as Transport and Development? Johanny S.J. Ebanks. Minister for Health and Wellness and Home Affairs? Sabrina Turner. Minister for Youth, Sports and Heritage? Isaac Rankine. Minister for Border Control and Labour and Culture? Dwayne Seymour. Minister for Sustainability and Climate Resiliency? Catherine Ebanks Wilkes. Deputy Governor Franz I. Manderson. Attorney General Samuel Bulgin. Minister for Finance, Education, District Administration, Lands and Cabinet Office? Juliana O'Connor.